Hello, and thank you very much for joining me in the studio today where we paint away the stress of everyday life. So as you can see, there's a project behind me on the board which I can't use my main easel, so I have to paint on the side here. And I've been playing around with some iridescent medium today, and that makes your paint go all sparkly. So I've come up with a lovely colour of gold using the iridescent medium to paint like an abstract type of thing today. Anyway, without further ado, let me show you exactly how I've done that, and I hope you enjoy this one. Okay, so looking at the palette, I got some mid-yellow, so iridescent medium, and some Mars black. That's all we need to do to make some gold, is to get that iridescent into the yellow. You can add a little bit of black to it as well if you wanted to, just to get that gold effect. But the first thing I'm going to do is just to get some black on the canvas, because this is quite an abstract-y type of painting. And you can see I've already done a quick outline of the King, Elvis Presley. And I thought I would do this today just to show you that you don't need a lot of skills as far as painting is concerned. So if you're just painting to relax and you're thinking of something like painting by numbers, this is a great way to actually get yourself started, and just two colours basically, yellow and black. So get yourself an outline or something off the internet, or anything like that. You can get some royalty free images if you wanted to, or create your own, in fact, and just do some outlines. You don't have to worry about detail. This is not about detail. This is just about painting away the stress of everyday life, as I normally do here on a Wednesday. So yeah, I'm just going to continue and just black this out. Now, you could have put the line drawing down with some white crayon or some white chalk, or some white pencil if you wanted to, onto a black canvas. You could do it that way, and then just paint the iridescent and yellow on top of that, or just do what I'm doing and just going straight into some black. The reason I decided to do this today is because I want to get some paint marks into the black as well. I don't want it smooth. I want it to look painterly. What I try to show you on the channel is many different ways to paint. We all get snowed under sometimes with you know, too much detail and stuff like this, and a lot of the time a lot of us out there are just painting to relax. We're not expecting to sell our artwork or nothing like that. This is personally just for us and maybe a family member or two, and this is what I'm trying to show you, is that you don't have to worry about doing these fantastic landscapes and seascapes and portraits and stuff like that that you see other people do. I just wanted to bring a few different genre to yourselves, and different techniques. You might decide, oh, I quite like the way this is done, and I'm going to do a few more of these. You can do animals like this, or you can imagine a tiger painted in a similar way, or leopards, or even your pets you could do like this. And this is all painting by numbers was originally, is sections drawn out, like you can see the outline, and each particular section, or each particular block, was a particular colour, and the paintings are designed in such a way that all these colours merge together and make a fantastic painting. Painting by numbers is a little bit more complicated than people think. Some people actually just struggle with that, but it's a good way to get started, and there's a lot more out there now than what there used to be years ago. But if you just want to get into painting, just pick up a brush, some paint, and have a go. That's all I can suggest, is just pick up a paint, and don't be afraid of paint as such, because a lot of the time people worry more about the process of painting rather than actually getting paint onto the canvas itself. And it's a good way to learn a new skill. We've all got a lot of time on our hands at the moment, and to learn new skills, whether it's baking or DIY or painting such as this, and we have opportunity at the moment to spend a lot more time on things and projects like this than we would normally have in our day-to-day life due to the unprecedented times that we find ourselves in. So just enjoy. You can see on the palette, next to the iridescent medium, I've got a small container which contains a medium mix, which I sell on the website www.clive5art.co.uk, and that's a blend of things that I've put together myself in order to allow the paint to stay retarded. In other words, don't dry so quick, and flow across the canvas as well. Now you can look, if you look at the canvas to the top right hand side of my hand, you can see where the colour is actually starting to go matte. In other words, it's drying. So it can dry pretty quick. So you need to remember this, that because it can take up to between 10 and 15 minutes for the painting to actually become dry. So it's important to just relax and just take your time when you're painting. Think about the painting, of course, but it's also important just not to worry about it, because when we worrying about what we're doing, we can overthink things, and sometimes painting is more about letting things happen rather than thinking things into existence. I do tend to waffle a bit, I know. Mars black is a wonderful colour. In fact, it's a blue black, so you can use Mars black and yellow, and it'll make a green. So try putting a little bit of yellow down, getting a bit of your Mars black, and adding the Mars black then to the yellow, and you'll find that you'll get a wonderful green colour. Not that we're using green in this painting, but it's another fantastic way of playing with colours, and that's the important thing to learn as well. Now, looking at the palette, you can see where the yellow is, and to the top left hand corner then there's a gel, which is a gel medium which I produce and sell on the website www.clive5art.co.uk, where that you can add that into the paint, which will thicken it up a little bit. I'm going to be using that into the gold iridescent mix that I'm going to be doing shortly to put onto this painting, because I want it to be globby and thick. You could use a palette knife to do the gold onto this painting, but I've decided I'm going to use a brush today, because not everybody's got palette knives, and you've got to be a little bit accurate with a palette knife in this case. But I'm just going to use a brush. Conventionally, you can paint on a wooden surface, what we call substrate. You can use plywood, masonette, and things like that. MDF is a surface that is prone to problems because the nature of it is of what MDF is basically. It's not so much it's a compressed medium density fiberboard. It's not so much what it's made of, it's the way the surface is, which makes things a little bit more complicated for the paint to adhere to. So you need to sand it and prepare it correctly in order for the paint to take the surface. But traditionally, painting on canvas and or canvas boards, and I say cardboard, this the board I'm actually using now, and I do use, is very similar to the original oil boards that were produced in the early days. 1800 and something for oil painters. Today those boards are covered with canvas and you can buy them as canvas panels, but the actual board itself is similar to what I'm using here. Again, just a little bit of preparation, a bit of gesso, that type of stuff works well for the preparation of these boards. So I'm going to be mixing some iridescent medium, as you can see now, into the yellow. If I want to darken that up a little bit, I don't want to put too much black into that. But what you could use instead of black, because as I mentioned earlier, black and yellow will make a green. I've also added a little bit of that thickening agent in there as well. But I want this to be quite bright. In fact, I think what I should have done is put some white onto the canvas, onto the palette, because yellow is quite opaque. Semi-opaque, and I need to make it opaque. Yeah, so using the yellow and the iridescent medium with a bit of the thickening agent is a good thing to do. So we want to get this nice and globby, and it's not painting so much rather than just placing on. But you can see there that the transparency of that yellow is not good. So I'm going to add some white. I need to make it a little bit more opaque. Don't need a lot. We don't want to lighten it too much, but on the other hand, we don't want to make it too transparent because we want it to look gold. You can see how thick that paint is, and that's because of the thickening gel that I have added into the paint. You can use a heavy body paint if you want to, but the gel works with all acrylics. So save yourself some money, in fact. I hope you could see what I can see. I've just realised that there's a bit of black that I've missed, but I'll put that in later on. I'll get back to that, and that's a good thing with acrylics because they dry so quick. You can see that I'm trying to get this placed in nice and thickly. And if you can't see it already, you should see the shape come in. That's the hair. And I'm going to put his face in now. Do you remember the stage show he did in the black leather jacket? I forget when. And he went down on his knees with his mic in his hand and he was singing to the audience. And one of the great rock and rollers of the 20th century, I think. Lost a lot of good people this year as well. I know Elvis died a while ago now, but he's always remembered. I've done quite a few Elvis Presley paintings over the years because where I live there's a place called PHTHALO and they have a Elvis Presley weekend there every September. And I normally go down and do a little bit of painting on the side of the road there and see all the people dressed up as Elvis. It's really good to see that type of stuff and to see his memory living on, and it's a fantastic thing. So you don't need a lot of colour. You don't need a lot of colour to make an effective painting, so don't be despondent if you can't do landscapes and portraits and stuff like that. Just start off very slowly. That's the important thing, is baby steps, because if we didn't have baby steps then we wouldn't be walking, would we? It's also a good thing to look at a colour wheel, if you've got a colour wheel, and think of complementary colours, and what colours go together, and understanding what colours make other colours. Like we all know that yellow and blue can make green, and yellow and red make orange, white and red make pink, but every colour that you can think of can be possibly made
just from the basic colours of yellow, blue and red. Obviously thinking of white and black as well for shades and making a shade and a tint. I don't like using black actually. I like to make my own blacks. So you could use ultramarine blue and burnt umber to make a nice dark black, or you can add a little bit of red in there. You can make some purple and mix that into the black colour you've just made as well. That'll make a lovely shadow colour, in fact. And if you haven't already, have a look at the playlist section for my colour mixing lessons. That should encourage you to play with paint and understand hues, tints, tones, shades, complements, secondary colours. It's interesting when you get into the paint colour mixing side and to understand how these colours work. You can see the black paint now is starting to really dry. It won't be completely dry by the time I'm finished, but it'll be good. And acrylic dries naturally matte anyway, so you could always varnish this later on or put a bit of glazing medium over it. Make sure it's a water-based varnish. There's another question I get asked a lot is about varnishing paintings and things. You don't need to varnish them really, but because acrylic dries matte, you won't see the true tones of the colours and the vibrance of the colours unless they actually got some sort of a varnish on them. They look a little bit more full of lustre then, is the word. But I don't mind acrylics as they are. They're quite nice. You can see really how matte the black has gone because it's pulling into the fibres of the cardboard. Whereas the yellow I'm putting on, because it's got iridescent medium, is a little bit more shiny and gold looking. And this is only a small 10 by 8 panel that I'm working on. And as I said before, you can always put these in frames if you wanted to, or you could take them onto a larger canvas. I tend to do little paintings, little study paintings before I move on to large canvases. The little paintings work out better than the big paintings, believe it or not. I've done some study paintings over the years and found out that they're much better than the larger paintings that I've gone on to do, and I've sold better. That's just life, I think. Sometimes because we're not so worried about what we're doing, we are more relaxed in our approach to the painting. Things tend to look and become much better and easier to the eye. So putting the mic stand in a little bit now, and I'm going to work on the back part of the stage as well as the front part of the stage, because that's where the light would catch. So this is the back part of the stage where the light could be shining, and plop that in there. You can see how I like the nice thick impasto mark of this paint. Now you could use this type of mix for landscapes if you wanted to reproduce some old looking oil painting type paintings if you wanted to, because it's quite universal, this paint. So just plop that in and we come into the end of the painting now, which is quite a nice little study. In fact, I think I've enjoyed painting this today. I want to take the opportunity to thank you all for subscribing to the channel and following along with me on these Wednesday uploads. It's about relaxing and sitting down, and not so much about what I do. It's about more about relaxing and watching the painting being produced. Whereas on Mondays I do lessons, and we'll take you through each stage of the painting I'm doing. And we just do fun things on a Friday as well. So if you like what you've seen today, then please click the subscribe button. Leave me a comment in the comment box. I will try to get to you as soon as I possibly can. Finding it more increasingly difficult to do that because there's so many people leaving comments now. But I want to take this opportunity to thank you for staying with me today, listening to this old man waffle along here in Wales, and I hope that you stay safe and stay well, especially during this unprecedented time of the virus. And please enjoy your painting, have fun, don't be stressed, just take each brush stroke as it comes. I'm just going to finish off now adding a little bit more black in, which I forgot to do earlier. Because that's what we do. We forget some things sometimes, so it's just a matter of touching up here and there. And I think we just about come in to the end of this painting now. So I'm looking forward to sitting down with you again and doing another painting.
To learn with our friend Clive.
So thank you very much, and don't forget to click the subscribe button down below. Opposite is another video you might be interested in, but until next time, thank you very much. Bye.